Hello, hello, I'm Kads and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about shards, how to get them, and how to use them efficiently. So let's start with the sources. And we're going to go in the order from the ones that give you the most to the ones that give you the least. So starting off, we have Demon Lord Clan Boss, Ultra Nightmare, and Nightmare. This is the team that I run. I run the super tanky budget team. They can 1 key on Spirit and it can 2 key on Force and Magic Affinities. If you look into the math, on average per month, you get about 8 Sacreds from Ultra Nightmare, top chest, Transcendent, and you get about 4 Sacreds from Nightmare. This is on average, so you could be plus or minus depending on your local RNG. For Voids, you get about 10 per month from Ultra Nightmare and about 2 per month from Nightmare. Void Shards and Ancient Shards can also drop from Hard and Brutal if you are 1 keying all 4 of those. The other source, or another source, is Doom Tower Hard. So if we go to the top of Doom Tower Hard, I've already done it for this rotation, but you get 2 Sacreds here at the top, and that's about 2 per month, since each Doom Tower rotation lasts about that long. And if you flip back over to normal and hard combined, you should get around 6 Void Shards per month from there. And I still have my one that we'll get later today when reset happens. Another area is Tag Team Arena in the Bazaar. So if we go over here, if you're in gold, you have access to an additional Sacred per month. And if you're in silver and above, you have access to 2 Void Shards per month. You also have monthly quests where you can get 1 extra Sacred Shard a month every 30 days and 1 extra Void Shard every 30 days, as long as you're staying up on top of your daily and weekly quests. We also have the daily login rewards. You get various shard types across the different champions here, but once you're in the 270 plus cycle, you get a Void Shard and Ancient Shard per month. Now there's also a chance to get them from events and tournaments. In this case, we have the ongoing Champion Training Tournament featuring Ultimate Death Knight, which I'm not chasing. But on the side rewards here, when it loads, there is a Void Shard at 8100 that I will be getting, as well as the Chaos Ore. But sometimes events, particularly ones that are somewhat special, not just the normal, will offer a Void Shard. And very, very rarely they'll offer a Sacred Shard here. It's not live right now, but if we had CVC going on, Clan v Clan, and you're topping out your tier rewards, sometimes there's a Sacred or Void Shards available there if you're in the higher tiers, 5, 4, 5, 6. In the clan shop down here in slot 10, you might have a Void Shard. There's not one this week, but sometimes there is, and I usually buy that. And we also have missions, your Arbiter and Ramontu missions, where you can get various rewards along the way towards Ramontu. And I have an Ancient Shard and 2 Voids here lined up to get somewhat soon. And lastly, you have dungeons, where there's a raw 0.5% chance to get an Ancient Shard, which is just kind of a nice bonus. Okay, now for the fun part. How do you pull your shards? First off, I am a pure free-to-play endgame player. I've been playing for over 2 years, so I do have a lot of shards that I've accumulated over that time period. I don't consider myself a true min-maxer, but I try to minimize the amount of shards that I waste. So we're going to talk about 2x events, 10x events, guaranteed champions, and what I call pogos or bonus legendary events. Starting with the 2x, that's where you have a 2 times chance to pull epics and legendaries from the respective shards. And generally speaking, that's the best bang for your buck across the board. You have a higher chance to get epics you might want, and when you're done with epics, you have a higher chance to get legendaries that you may or may not want. So what I do for this, since they typically coincide with a champ chase tournament, is that I pull just enough shards of the respective type to get the first legendary tome, and I kind of stop. Unless the shards are really hot, I'm getting a lot of epics, or I'm getting a lot of legendaries, which is maybe once every 5 polling sessions. I just stop at the first tome and I cash out and I save the rest for the next time, or different types of events. For 10x events, like the one we have going on right now, you have a 10 times chance if you pull an epic or legendary to get these specific champions. Note that the base rates are still the same, and it's not 10 times chance to pull anything. It's 10 times chance if you pull one of these types to get one of these epics or legendaries. So what I do for this 10x's, typically I skip them. They usually coincide with a summon rush, and in this case they're coinciding with the hero's path, which is essentially a summon rush. And you can get some decent rewards normally from them, like legendary tomes or chickens and feasts, etc. But to me, they're usually not worth it, and 10x's are not a reliable enough source to get the champions, because mathematically you have about a 1 in 10 chance if you pull a legendary to pull one of the 10x champions, and to me that's not a great odds, especially if you're nowhere near Mercy. And speaking of Mercy, I'll pop it on the screen here. This is the Mercy tracker that I use. It's a Google Sheet created by Chosen, and I adapted it for legendaries and epics. But this is how I know how many shards I have remaining until I'm due a legendary or an epic, and that informs me on how many shards I need to pull for summon rushes, usually during fusions. Typically, during a fusion, I just pull the 3 or 4 sacreds required, and then I do the rest in mystery to get the fragments or the rares, and that's the end of that. So for guaranteed champions, like the one we have going on right now, generally this is a good thing to pursue if you have the shards, first of all, but more importantly, if you're nowhere near Mercy. Because what this allows you to do is you can get a champion that you might want, and along the way, worst case, you get unlucky and you don't pull an extra legendary, and then you're that much closer to your next Mercy pull, which can help on either a summon rush or on a pogo event. For me, generally speaking, I skip guaranteeds. I do have a lot of shards, but I just haven't found a champion that I want. However, in this instance, I do want Stultus. He's going to be helpful for Doom Tower Secret Rooms, as well as Tag Team Arena Defense, so I do want him on my account, and I will be pulling for him in a later video. But typically, I don't. They just haven't put champions in the pool that I particularly want for my account until today. Lastly, we have the Pogo events, where you can pull an extra legendary if you pull a legendary, and this again is where it's great to know where you are with Mercy, and I'll put a link to my spreadsheet in the description, or the Chosen spreadsheet in the description. A lot of people also use RSL Helper to track their Mercy, and that is a great tool for doing that as well. And I recommend going for a pogo if you're within, let's say, 50 to 60 shards, ancient shards away. For sacred shards, it just doesn't feel as worth it to me, because sacreds are very sacred. But I would recommend 50 to 60 ancients away from Mercy for a pogo event. So in summary, if you're a free-to-play player, try not to give in to the FOMO. Just be very choosy with the events that you partake in. 2x events are usually a safe bet. 10x's are generally not worth it unless you're near Mercy. Guaranteed events are great when you're far from Mercy and you also want the champion, but even if you're close, you might just get a legendary along the way, and it's great. And pogo events are great if you are near Mercy. I put up my Mercy tracker again on the screen, and I'll have a link to that in the description below. And if you have any other strategies that you guys employ, or you think there's something I missed here, please drop it in the comment section below. And if you like this type of content, well, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more like this. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.